Because in the end, we're designing for people. It's not just we're designing for the void or for whatever.
So you mentioned encouraging everyone to bring insights to the table, right? So the researcher is not the oracle, they're the connector. So what tips do you have to help people to encourage their team to have others bring those insights to the table?
Well, what you need to build there is relationships mostly. And first, you need to understand that, yeah, the research team, or even as a researcher, the research team is a research team of one when you're the first one, but still a research team. So as a research team, we go and we research customers or we talk to customers and so on, but we are not the only ones doing that. Probably at an organization, there are different people doing that in different ways, in different levels, with different cadences, with different objectives. But the first thing you need to do is like talk to those people and say, hey, folks in customer success, how often are you talking to customers? What are you doing? Are you having sessions with them? Are you calling them on the phone? What are you talking about? And so on. Then saying, okay, are there things from other parts of the organization that could be useful for you that you don't know? And it's like, yeah, we'd like to know more. I'm making this up, right? But this is usually like something they ask for. But I would like to know more about the product roadmap, for example. Okay, fine. Then you connect the knowledge here. Then you go to sales. Okay, sales. How often are you talking to prospects? What are you getting out of them? Are you asking this question? Or why don't you ask this? Basically collaborating and creating this awareness that they are also a touch point that can bring super valuable information. For example, I don't know, where you lose or win deals. That's something super valuable because sometimes, yeah, they went with a competitor. They didn't like our feature. We're lacking here. We're lacking that. They're a super important touch point. So trying to connect all those bits and create this kind of different streams of insights can help you then say, okay, this came from CS, this came from sales, this came from support, this came from research, this came from product. So you start connecting, and then when you start showcasing everybody the process, now you triangulate different bits of information. You can then tell them, look, we're getting better quality of information. We're triangulating. We're more confident about what we know, and we have different angles to this. So you need to get some first couple of partners in crime to go on board with this, which then will bring the rest. So I think this is a lengthy process. It won't be something that you can achieve overnight. But if you manage to do that as a first researcher, then research as a team or as a function, then you can keep on providing insight from the research side, and then you can make this better. But this all comes from the premise that the researcher is the enabler and the connector, instead of just the sole digger, just the sole, capture of information.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds like you're cultivating a little bit of a universe of knowledge, right? By tapping into these different sources. That's really cool. I have been in organizations, and maybe you've encountered this too, Julian, where research was expected to go off into a corner and do research and come back with the results. And maybe the product partner would be like, I'm too busy to participate in your research or observe. Just go out and find out what I need you to find out and just come back and tell me. Have you ever been in that situation?
Yes.
Countless. Okay. Yes. So how do we fight that? How do we overcome those divides between UX research being done solo and bringing our team along so that they're hearing those insights and participating in hearing the knowledge firsthand from the users?
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me challenge that a little bit.
Okay.
So it depends.
I mean, you went 5 minutes without saying it depends, so that's fair.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say this, for example, a product manager says, okay, I expect you to go and find this stuff out. But then when you bring the stuff, they actually hear you out and you're an important voice for them and they see you as a strategic partner. I see no harm there. I see, okay, fine. They're like, we are counterparts. We're a team. We all go after one objective, or we want to, work well. So this is how it goes. I don't see any problem there. But the thing is, sometimes, and I would say most of the times, it's not like that. It's like, okay, you go, and then when you bring the results back, they're like, yeah, but this doesn't really fit what we are looking for, or this, we are really thinking of actually shipping that feature, but yeah, we're pretty much into development now. So I don't know if we can, whatever. Or we promised this to this customer, so I don't think we can That happened countless times. That's probably where you were trying to go with your question. So apart from the nice product folk who consider us counterparts and strategic partner, when we go to this situation, probably you need to encourage to at least attend 1 or 2 sessions from each project. If you are working maybe with a trio, let's say engineering and design and product, and you're like the fourth musketeer there, you can say, okay, fine, at least divide. We're doing 9 interviews, do 3, 3, and 3, or at least 6, so 2, 2, and 2, but kind of like mix up. So everybody in the team also here, it's not just about one stakeholder, but everybody. So they will also have different perspectives. I always say, look, if this is a project that is relevant to you and is relevant to the organization and so on, I think that you can afford giving 2 hours in 3 weeks or 2 weeks to listen to customers firsthand and get in touch with that and hear their voice and hear their concerns and so on, because it will change your perspective completely. And it will then make you better whatever. It could make you a better engineer, it can make you a better designer, it can make you a better product manager, because in the end, we're designing for people. It's not just we're designing for the void or for whatever. It's like we are designing for people. So hearing people, hearing their voice, their concerns, their problems will make you a better professional in the long run if this is what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's great. I love that you point out, have them listen to a couple of interviews or sessions or whatever that might be, observe, because sometimes they hear that one time and they latch onto that. Well, that person did this. And it's like, I understand, but they're actually an outlier in the study and that one little nugget that they saw. So if you kind of ask them to participate in more than one, that they do get a little bit more of a diverse perspective on what's happening in the research.
Yeah, definitely. That's also why I recommend mixing it up a little bit and not just inviting one stakeholder, but the whole team. So in case one stakeholder really wants to hold onto that piece of feedback, maybe they could be challenged not by the researcher, but maybe they're challenged by, I don't know, the product manager is challenged by the engineer or the designer, and then you can also chip in because you saw the whole study, and you can help orchestrate that. And going back to the beginning, if you do that within the context of a workshop, that's super interesting. But that's opening another branch, and we can branch out here to workshops and research again.
Yeah, it's true. I agree with you. Having more than one person on observing an interview or whatnot, and then having a debrief, it does 2 things. One, the first one you said, which is like other people were like, oh, that didn't really stand out to me, but what did stand out to me was this. And if they've been on the project for a really long time, they can bring previous context. Oh yeah, we tested this feature out before and this worked or this didn't work or this user said this, right? So they can have that longitudinal perspective, which can be biased a little bit. That's fair, but that's why having a group discussion can sometimes mitigate and balance out some of that bias that might be creeping into those.
Yeah, definitely agree. A debrief with all these factors in is the way to go. We can also call it, as I said, debrief could be in one way, could be in another. You can use sessions, workshops, whatever, but I think this is definitely the way to go. Yeah, I 100% agree there.
Yeah. Check out all my interviews with industry leaders on BlatzChatz.